There are plenty of big rivalries around the Portland metro area, but none any bigger than this ball game. It's a Pacific Conference showdown. Two of the top-ranked teams in the state square off once again as the Tualatin Timberwolves take on the Tigard Tigers. Good evening, everybody. I'm Todd Pickett along with Jim Patterson. We welcome you to Tigard High School. And Jim, last year Tigard knocked Tualatin from the ranks of the undefeated. They've got a possibility of doing it again in this annual showdown game.
Timberwolves last year, Todd, as you mentioned, 35-7 loss to the Tigers. They come in ranked number 7 with a 5-0 overall record, 3-0 in the conference, and they're putting that unblemished record up tonight against number 5 Tigard. They come in 4-1, 3-0 in the conference, and really this is going to be an interesting game for the point that Tualatin defensively has given up only 37 points in their first 5 games. That's the fewest number of points given up by any team at the 6A level in the state. On the other hand, Tigard puts up over 400 yards in offense, so something is going to give.
And Jim, for each of these teams, each missing a key player, a key senior leader coming into tonight's game.
No question. Jeff Reynolds, Jeff Williams, for Tualatin. We got to see him in game number 1 of the season against Crater. He's out 2 weeks ago, injury, ACL, surgery. They're hoping they get him back. And then for Tigard, Chance Taylor, also an ACL knee injury. So 2 key players for both Tualatin and Tigard out of tonight's game. But you know what? They've got enough of their teammates fired up for this rivalry. I don't think it'll much matter.
Always a showdown. Tigard won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. They will kick off. And if you've read anything about Tigard's uniforms, these are the new uniforms, part of the Nike uniform set they received. These are the new and improved uniforms, and you can join in with us in trying to identify numbers tonight. Back deep for Tualatin are Andrew Schlottman and Nick Hines. And this ball game between two of the top teams in the Pacific Conference is underway. Hines with it from the 3-yard line, a good wedge. Breaks away from another tackle, but he'll get snowed under at about the 18-yard line. They're going to give him forward progress, though, out just beyond the 20-yard line, and the Timberwolves will get started from there. And, Jim, that Tualatin offense has kind of come alive in recent weeks as well.
Well, we talked about early in the season, the spread offense takes a little bit of time for teams to get comfortable with each other and with the offense. They only scored some 25 points in their first couple games, but in the last 3, they put up 151 points. So the offense is rolling.
Quarterback Brandon Schroyer at the helm. And a ground play to open things up for the Timberwolves. They'll carry the ball out to about the 25-yard line.
T-Wolves want to make sure that they can establish a ground game. It makes that spread option, the read, the zone option, so much more effective. If you can run the football, makes it much easier to throw the ball.
Schlottman, the ball carrier on that first down play. And he'll get it again from the 25, both hands over the ball. He'll fall forward for about a 3-yard gain to bring up a 3rd and 3.
Well, and you mentioned Andrew Schlottman. He's the guy that really has come in and picked up the slack with the injury to Jeff Williams. Tigard coach Haston very, very high on what Schlottman has done, coming in and really putting this team on his shoulders offensively.
Schroyer sprinting back to the huddle. And a 3rd and 3. Again, Schlottman right side, the power side, and he'll spin forward with enough for the first down. Jim, they really overload that right side, and they just anticipate you to to get numbers, and then they'll counter it back if they need to.
I just think it's really interesting. The first 3 plays of the football game, run plays, Tualatin really wanting to establish an offensive presence with the big fellas up front.
Same play again. They'll run it till you stop, but apparently as he bangs off the right side, Schlottman, the ball carrier, and he's got Ryan Wisner in front of him as one of the lead backs on that wing.
And not a bad situation, picking up close to 4 yards on the first down. So as you said, until they stop it, you know, it makes a lot of sense to continue to just pound the football in the middle because the clock runs And also, you keep that defense out on the field.
Yep, they're taking it right to the gap in the Tigard line. Bad snap, gets away. Schroyer gets it, cannot get anywhere. A sea of black jerseys there. Robbie Shabrek there on the tackle, along with Anthony Consolo, who looked like 17 but is apparently 11. Number-wise, that is.
And those types of plays, Todd, are the plays that could be the difference in a game, because you've got two teams that are equally as strong, but it'll come down to mistakes, in an early one here by Tualatin.
Yeah, and they have to get away from ball control now on 3rd and long. Floated over the middle, batted away.
Penalty flag, no doubt.
Yep, some contact there. The defensive back who knocked the ball away, Zach Floyd, made a clean play, but the up back in there made some contact with the wide receiver.
Well, two things. First of all, a defenseless player. Second, a blow to the head. And the official, the side judge, saw it, and I think accurately called the penalty, if that in fact is what it is, and we're pretty sure that it is. So now Tualatin actually catches a break.
All right, they will call the personal foul for a minute. They'd picked up the flag. Dave Bergman, our referee, heading our crew tonight from the Portland Football Officials Association, and they come over and tell Coach Recker that it was a blow to the head, just as you said, Jim. And they'll march it off just beyond the 40-yard line.
And that's not one of those things, Todd, where I think it was necessarily a dirty play. The ball was overthrown, and the defender that actually made contact with the receiver was just assuming he was going to catch the football.
The other big key to that, it's a personal foul, not pass interference, so it's not an automatic first down. It's 3rd and 2. Schlottman around the right side has the first down and takes it out over the 45-yard line. And again, the Timberwolves able to go back to that power football.
Well, they've got to feel very good after making a big mistake and then getting a break on a penalty. Hand the ball to Schlottman, who's able to get the first down and keep this drive alive.
Brad Davis shoved him out of bounds, but not before he picked up another first down after a gain of 5. So the Timberwolves continue with the drive from the opening kick. Now there's the counter back the other direction for the first time, and they'll get about 3 that time. Ball carried by Austin Green. And it was Nick Duran and Robert Lee combining for the stop that time for the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. Usually in a game of this magnitude, first place in the conference on the line, you're playing against a crosstown rival. Kids are usually pretty amped up and a lot of mistakes are made, but not so far. Both teams look to be settled in and ready for what proves to be a big night here in Tigard.
Tualatin 2-0 in league play. Tigard 1-0. Pressure. Schroyer, backside pressure will get him and knock him down back at the 41-yard line. And the stop made by Benny Wick coming up from the linebacker position.
Well, you could tell it was a busted play from the get-go because Schroyer actually came out, reverse pivot to fake play action, no back there.
Yeah, the flow was wrong, wasn't it?
And then he rolled to the left, which is really difficult for a righty, and the play by that time was busted up, and I think he was wise just to go ahead and sit it down, not try to force anything and create the turnover.
Good poise there, yeah. Instead of trying to turn it upfield, lost about 5, and it's a 3rd and 15 now. They'll stay in the same set. Slant way too tall that time over the head of Brennan Symes. And the Timberwolves, after holding the ball a little over 4 minutes, will have to kick it away.
Well, and you can be assured that Tualatin's coaches up in the booth will see that Tigard's corners are playing a little bit of a press coverage with some inside leverage. Don't be surprised in a series down the road here. We see the slant and then the out and up.
Austin Green on to punt. On 4th and 15, Tigard's coaches telling the players don't drop anyone. They're all staying in the zone, and they'll let the punt go. Low end over end, and he kicks it out of bounds before it even gets to the Tigard 40-yard line.
Well, my guess is that they have obviously done some scouting. They scout the special teams and recognize that getting Tualatin in a punt formation is probably a good thing, and they're better off not have to worry about any sort of turnover or penalty. Kick the ball, take it wherever it lands.
17-yard punt is all, and you know that Rob Haston will pull him aside and go, next time, just pooch one down the middle and let it roll. That's all he had to do, and they would have had a 40-plus yard roller. So great field position for Tigard to start its first possession. And they'll get a big gain on first down. And as soon as he stops running, I'll tell you who it is when we can read the number. It's Zach Floyd carrying the ball, the leading rusher for Tigard, and they get a big hitter on first down.
Well, and Cooper Bruner saved a touchdown, no question about that. If he doesn't make the tackle around the shoelaces, he's gone.
19-yard gain on the play, and again, we apologize. We'll tell you who it is as soon as we can figure it out. Floyd again through the middle this time. First contact made by Cody Summers for the Timberwolves defense.
And Tualatin's got their work cut out, Todd, because between the trio, Zach Floyd, Kaz Green, and Benny Wick, they've rushed for 1,329 yards and accounted for 16 touchdowns. So they can throw the ball a little bit, but really running the football with those three guys is the key.
And the other stat that's impressive, too, both Floyd and Green average 8 or more yards per carry. And again, they'll go to Floyd. Nice stutter step through the line. Literally ran over a man who was down on the ground. Didn't see him. He'll be just short of the first down as he tripped up over Summers.
Well, and this is classic Craig Rucker offense. You know, line guys up, go double tight. No need to have anybody outside. We're just going to line up across from you and try to knock your teeth out while the ball carrier gets big yardage. And that's what they've done.
And it's good. You can watch Floyd take that little counter jab step before the handoff, and then again breaks down and finds the hole, able to slide and pick the spot that he wants. So short yardage here. Fake it outside, bring him right through the middle of the hole, and an easy first down picked up there. Down to the 25-yard line. Kenny Walder on the tackle for Tualatin.
So they line up in the eye. You're thinking maybe power, maybe a smash play off the guard. No, nice little counter to keep people off balance and a good gain for the first down.
Well, that's a good way to take on an over-aggressive defense, too. That first jab step, guys will start flowing, and they've come back and really sealed off well so far in the middle of the line. Floyd will come out for the first time. And Kaz Green will be the tailback. Takes it in a Wildcat snap, and he's wide open. Inside the 10, one man to beat. They push him out of the way. Great downfield blocking, and Green takes it in for the score.
Well, just a great play with Kaz Green out of that Wildcat formation. He's actually thrown 3 touchdowns out of that formation, so you've got to honor the fact that he might pull up and throw. But the thing that impressed me there, Todd, was the downfield blocking by Tigard, and Green being able to read it, make some great cutback moves, and in for the touchdown. First blood for the Tigers against the T-Wolves.
Benny Wick on to attempt the extra point, and it's no good. Wick, who was 14 of 17 for the year, missing that kick. And just to go back to that point again, Jim, great downfield blocking in particular from Anthony Consolo. I mean, he was 20 yards down the field and continued to push his guy and finished him off by taking him out of bounds to open the last hole.
Well, if you're a tight end or a wide receiver in a power type of offense, you don't get the ball much, but one of the things you have to do is be able to block downfield, and that's exactly what Consolo did. Great play there, and it winds up a touchdown for the Tigers.
Yeah, you better do it, or else you're not going to be out on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Else will come out and take your spot instead. So the homecoming crowd here at Douglas Field, ecstatic as the Tigers get the early lead. And the Timberwolves know they're able to move the ball, but right now they know they've got to kind of average 3 to 4 a play, or it becomes a little more difficult for them against this Tiger defense.
Well, the other thing, Todd, it's if you look at the clock, I mean, they haven't thrown the football, and the clock has run, and this has been a pretty quick first quarter. Tiger really got the ball and scored quite quickly.
Yeah, and I get the feeling, again, that that's got to be a little part of the Tualatin game plan. Keep our offense on the field, run clock, get our defense rested, keep the ball away, because you're right, it was a quick strike. In fact, it was a 5-play, 58-yard drive using just over 2 minutes.
Problem is you've got to be able to play defense if you give them the ball back.
So there's your time of possession so far. Tualatin has a 2-1 advantage, but they're down 6-0.
Football's a funny game that way.
Wick with the kick, a whistle, and a flag thrown. Somebody jumped offside on the kickoff. So they're going to back him up 5. A little bit of a bad break perhaps for Tualatin, because the ball had hopped up nicely to one of the upmen, Connor McCullough, at about the 30, and he was going to get pretty decent return yardage. So Wick gets a chance to boot a little better. And so far, Benny's toe has not been too effective between the PAT and that kickoff.
You know, the other thing that makes me think on that first drive, you know, after you've held the ball, as Tualatin did that first series, you punt it away, get a 17-yard kick. Now you're kind of down in the dumps because Tigard's gotten really good field position, and then they march it down the field and score. So Tualatin needs to bounce back here and try to get some momentum.
You're right, before a third layer hits him. There's a big advantage for Tigard. That kick about 35 yards better, but the Timberwolves still get a nice run back out of it. Good job by Hines to return it. Takes it out to the 31-yard line, and the Timberwolves will go from there.
And that's exactly the way you try to get momentum back. That was a great return by Symes. And now Schroyer, who leads the T-Wolves as quarterback, needs to just gather everybody together, settle down, run the offense.
Schroyer averages a little over 13 yards of completion, so if we see him get to the air, and there he goes on first down, under pressure, stayed in the pocket, just a bit too far as he tried to lead Austin Green. And to be honest, Jim, Tigard had him pretty well bracketed front and back.
Yeah, they did. T-Wolves' offensive line gave Schroyer lots of time. He was able to stand in the pocket. Green was pretty well covered downfield. It would have been a heck of a catch and pass play. But again, the pass protection by the Timberwolves here early, pretty good.
They'll come back with Schlotman around the right side again, and he's going to get enough for the first down. Really almost didn't get touched till he's about 8 yards downfield. A nice job of winding his way through the line, and it'll be enough for a first down. One of the Tigard defenders over there still, Robbie Schabrek, talking to the officials still. Jim, that almost reminded me of just one of those winding pistol runs a little bit with Schlotman going around the end that way.
Well, little stretch play, kind of that concept where he could take it up inside the tackle if it's there, but Schlotman doing a great job to bounce it outside.
They'll give it to him again on the quick hitter, and he had some daylight, and all of a sudden, nice job stepping up into the gap that time by Consolo. As he stepped to the hole, it looked like daylight, and it closed just about as quickly.
Well, so he did take that one inside the tackles, and he had a little bit of a crease, but Tigard reacting very quickly, very active linebackers was able to come up and hold him to a 2-yard gain.
Schlotman again, and they're not even making an exchange. It's a handoff or nothing there as he gets another 2 or 3 on that play. And combining on the tackle for Tigard, Kane Adams along with Jake Biglow.
So it'll be interesting to see here with 3rd and 5 whether they stay on the ground, maybe something to the wide side of the field towards the press box where we're at, or do they decide to drop back in some sort of play action and throw the football?
Yeah, they've only run one wing counter back the other direction so far. It looked like they jumped, but they'll try to option it left, and there is nowhere to go. Tigard had that one covered with numbers perfectly, and there just was not even a chance to tackle for a loss that time from Kane Adams.
Well, the problem is, as a quarterback, when you need to make the read off the defensive end, and he's actually like a foot in front of you, that's a tough read to make. Schlotman was wide open for a pitch, but Schroyer did the right thing by not putting it on the ground. But unfortunately, ball goes back to the Tigers. And again, Todd, nobody back to receive the kick.
Yep. They had everybody covered well on that option that time. Much better job of lining up the punt. There you go.
That's what you do.
Yep, just take the roll. Timberwolves will get down. They'll be able to down this one inside the 10-yard line. But it was a nice job that time by Green to just show a lot more patience and just step into the ball knowing he's not getting much of a rush and there's nobody back there to return it.
Well, just keep it between the white lines. You know, we talked about this.
Kind of like our golf shots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this several games ago where on this artificial surface, if you'll get a lot of good breaks where the ball will bounce forward. Even off of a 20-yard kick, you could get 20 yards a roll. So good job by Green there to make up for that first punt of 17 yards. Got a pretty good one here.
At the 7-yard line, second possession of the ball game for the Tigers, who went 58 yards for a score on their first. Looked Looked like there might have been some motion on that one. Ball popped loose. They come down and cover it. They're Floyd carrying, but got nowhere. Looked like the lead man might have jumped a count there.
Ryan Wisner in on the tackle for the T-Wolves. Great job of shedding the block. He actually had a lineman right out in his belly, and he was able to get rid of the blocker and made a great tackle for a loss in the backfield.
2nd and 12 there, and the Tigers taking a long time for this play to come in as well. Cause Green will come in.
Element here of maybe being a little bit more conservative when you're inside your 15-yard line, your 10-yard line.
And a timeout taken by Tigard as they were close to getting the delay of game penalty, although it would have only taken them back about another 2.5 yards, half the distance. But they elect to not move the ball any further back and take a timeout with 2:32 to play here in the first quarter. Don't forget, anytime you want to watch great high school action, regular season and playoff from anywhere around the country, you can watch it on demand at PlayOnSports.com. This game that you're watching will be available to you anytime on demand. You can go to PlayOnSports.com or go to YouTube and search for Play On Sports. And we welcome you wherever you may be to this Pacific Conference showdown tonight between Tigard and Tualatin. Jim, there's about 5 different rankings around the state between the AP, the Oregonian, the OSAA's power ratings, Northwest Elite Index, and so on. These teams are up and down all over everywhere, usually in the middle of the top 10 right now. But in the OSAA rankings, for example, Tigard's number 2, Tualatin's number 12.
Yeah, it's a funny thing that way.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because different scenarios, different formulas get used and so on. And Tualatin's ranked 2 in one of the polls, I think the Northwest Elite Index, if I remember right, with 5 different measures. And nice that we get to settle it out here on the field. And, of course, with the OSAA system, a pretty equitable system of making it through the playoffs anyway. From the Wildcat again, and they'll make the option pitch this time. Tualatin reading that well. Green will get knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 2 or 3 as he took the option pitch that time. And that time it was Floyd at the Wildcat or tailback spot and then ran the option with Green. So
Will Chapman for the T-Wolves on the tackle. Great pursuit there to the sideline.
You keep doing that, okay? Because that way by the time I find the numbers in the dark jerseys,
no problem.
You can tell us who made the tackle. It's a bit of a mystery. All right, even back in at quarterback on this 3rd down. And they'll quick pitch it. Good kick to the outside. They'll get about 5 more on that one as Benny Wick with the run. Wick averaging about 5.5 yards a carry.
So Ryan Wisner's been very active here defensively for the T-Wolves. That's his 3rd tackle so far of the football game. Great job again of pursuit. Make sure that you pin that running back to the sideline. Don't let him around the edge.
4th and 2. Floyd is the punter, but again, keep in mind his ability to run the ball, although gambling at your own 15 might be a bit much this early in the ball game. And they'll drive this one away. Hines will chase after it and just watch it bounce as it checks up, and it'll be down at the 47-yard line. A 38-yard punt on the play, no return.
So Tualatin gets, in terms of an exchange for field position, they get the ball back in a pretty good spot to start this series.
Well, and more important, too, as you said, instead of stacking another layer, allowing another scoring drive, it's literally a 3-and-out for them there. And now they get the ball at midfield. So their offense needs to get untracked here in the final minute of the first quarter, but they're only down 6.
And it's always interesting to me, Todd, how, you know, you can be calling plays as an offensive coordinator in the first series, great success running the football. Next time you get the ball back, you start throwing the ball.
A little different alignment for the first time for the Timberwolves. They'll quick pitch it to Schlottman left side. Good stiff arm to get by one tackler and falls down on the turf. The ball loose after he hit the ground as he was dragged down by A.J. Hodgkins.
Andrew Schlottman with the stiff arm, 6'1", 210, a senior. Absolutely, you know, any of the kids, both sides, who are seniors in a game against your rival, in a game on a homecoming night where you're going into somebody else's house, you're ranked in the top 10. This is a big game if you're a senior football player.
You think the Timberwolves don't want to spoil that homecoming dance tonight? There's a little web, and they'll hand off there to Schlotman again. He'll take it inside the 45-yard line, bring up the third down. First time they've really shown a mesh as opposed to just the quick, straight handoff to Schlotman.
Yeah, and you always hope, if you're the coach, get that football in his belly and then don't fight over it, because that's a lot of times where fumbles occur.
It's going to be a 3rd and 2 for the Timberwolves when we come back. At the end of one quarter of play, it is the Tigers 6 and the Tualatin Timberwolves nothing. You're watching Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
Good stuff. All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
No.
No?
And we welcome you back to Douglas Memorial Field at Tigard High School. Start of the second quarter. And the Tualatin Timberwolves will pick up a first down on their first play of the quarter as Schlotman carries it to the 41-yard line. First quarter numbers, Tigard with 67 yards and Tualatin with 29. All of them on the ground for both teams.
It's always really great when you're sitting next to the stat guy, isn't it? It's terrific.
Well, I feel bad, though, because we swiped their stool. We did offer it back, but no, they wouldn't hear it, so, you know.
Well, I volunteered to stand. That's our appreciation. It's pretty good view back here behind you, big fella.
Hey, as long as I'm out of the way, you know. Just look around the shoulders, and we'll go from there. 2nd and 7 for the Timberwolves after that one.
Well, this would be a big answer here for Tualatin with the missed extra point. You know, after all this back and forth and a quick strike and quick score by Tigard, you could get yourself in the lead in a big football game. That'd be huge for Tualatin. Good drive here.
Wing back to the left this time. Quick pitch to Schlotman left side, and he'll get down inside the 35-yard line that time. Flag thrown down on the play, away from the play. Down the field on the Tigard side of things, but thrown on this near sideline on a play that was off the left side of the line. Janik Ward on the stop for Tigard that time.
Looks like something against Tualatin since Mr. Bergman, the white hat, is talking to the captain for the Tigard defense.
But again, the flag, you see there the officials are on the left hash. The flag's down on the right hash. So completely away from the play. They're just deliberating options now as to whether they want third down from the end of the play. So the block below the waist, they'll take it, bring it back, march it off to just outside the 47.
Big penalty.
Well, and probably with the 10 too, Jim, again, given that Tualatin's kind of having to grind out yards right now, you probably want to back them up rather than give them the 3rd and short they would have had.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty easy decision. Take the penalty. Make him work for it. 2nd and about 16 yards.
Yeah, once they got the option as to where the ball was going to be placed, to where it was explained. And they'll go to the air. Again, the slant route, batted down from in behind. Tualatin fans want a flag, but they're not going to get one. Coverage that time, the bat away by Manu Rasmussen.
And that's one of those where it's just bang, bang. The defender and the ball get to the receiver at the same time. The officials do a great job. There's no PI there, just a bang-bang play and an incomplete pass.
So again, where you've gone just a short slants and hope to get yards after catch, you now have to try to figure out a way to get 16 yards on the play. They'll spread it out this time. 4 receivers in the pattern. And again, flush from the pocket is Schroyer, and he's going to be snowed under out at midfield. First guy to get him off balance again was Jacob Mullen. And then he got additional help with Hodgkins wrapping him up.
Well, and once the quarterback breaks the pocket, it puts that much more pressure on the offensive lineman. And with Tigard's defense flying to the football, once Schroyer gets outside that pocket, then really all bets are off, and it just makes it very, very difficult.
Tigers, again, will not put a return man back. They'll allow Tualatin free reign with this punt. And it'll be down at the 13-yard line. The Timberwolves could have taken a little bit more time. Curious strategy there.
Well, it's not that Tigard doesn't have some very capable return guys, because we know that they do, but they must have either seen something during the scouting of the Timberwolves games where the punter just was not as effective putting the ball inside the 20-yard line in those situations. And I think they'll probably relook at that strategy and put somebody back, because they put themselves in a hole now here twice in the first couple series where they've had nobody back.
But it's interesting further in that they've not put a punt rush on, and they've also not really done much to try to hold up the Tualatin players as they go down the field. So from their own end, again from the 14-yard line, nice job of bouncing off an initial tackler that time. It was Floyd. He really spun out of the hands of Kenny Walther, was not able to wrap him up that time.
Well, and Schlottman was right there to clean it up after Walther missed. But 8 yards gained, or about 7 yards gained on the play.
Yeah, and when Schlottman, who's at the free safety spot, comes up to make the hit, that's not a good statistical number for the Tualatin defense if he's coming all the way in to make the final tackle.
On the other hand, if he's coming up to hit you, that's not a good thing either.
Yeah, that's true. Pitch outside this time for Green. Cos will wind his way back, spin to about the 27, and he'll pick up a first down from there. Walther on the stop along with Cooper Bruner. Timeout taken by Tualatin here. 9:15 to play in the second quarter. It'll be a first down for the Tigers at their own 26-yard line. Interesting, this is the 6th week of the season, and these two teams do not have a common opponent at all for the year. Usually by now you've got somebody either non-conference or within your league, but it just so happens that the way the schedule's balanced, they finish with the teams that they've not faced as one another. Tigard 3-0 in league, Tualatin 2-0, but Tualatin with wins over Crater, Southridge, Forest Grove, Hillsboro, and Newburgh, while Tigard defeated Canby, lost to Aloha in a non-conference game, and then beat Glencoe, Century, and McMinnville.
Well, in that Aloha game, 36-34 loss, and they actually did a pretty good job of containing Thomas Tyner, who has really ripped a whole bunch of teams up, including that Lake Ridge game where he had 640 plus yards.
4,332 yards.
And 10 touchdowns in one game.
Yeah. And still barely won it.
Yeah.
Never mind West Virginia Baylor. We had Aloha Lake Ridge shootout. That was quite the game in its own right. First down, extra bands members from the middle schools on hand for tonight's homecoming game as well. So big atmosphere for homecoming, and the Tigers hoping to get their second straight win over their rivals, and Cos Green is about to add to the lead. Schlottman to beat inside the 10 will not get him. Green, 74 yards for the score, and once they get that quick hitter, Jim, it's going to be tough to stop.
Well, the blocking at the line of scrimmage, right at the point of attack, unbelievable hole. And Kaz Green with a little counter and the cutback. And once he got into that second level where the linebackers had vacated, there was no one for Tualatin that would catch him. Schlottman had a pretty good angle, but Schlottman at 6'1", 210 is not going to catch the speedy Green.
So we'll see whether they go for two or not after missing the kick earlier with Wick. And they do appear to be lined up that way. Go to a little wildcat again with Floyd. Fake it. Floyd will take it himself, and he's in for the run. And a 14-0 score.
Well, and if you're a Timberwolves faithful, this is one of the things that you had hoped coming over here that did not happen, and it would be a quick lead by Tigard. They're at home. They're in front of their crowd. It's homecoming. And if you look across the way to the Timberwolves sideline and the fans, quieted by that Cosgreen 74-yard touchdown. So the T-Wolves have got some work to do to get back in this.
And see, we just took all that time during that last time out with a nice filler about no common opponents or anything else, and now we got time to fill again between the kicks.
Yep.
This is kind of getting into a little bit of a danger zone here. The Timberwolves need to come up with some sort of production, and they're going to have to not allow another Tigard score before halftime.
Well, and the other thing, as a coach, you want to make sure that those kids that participated last year in that 35-7 loss, you know, that starts creeping into your head a little bit, that if this gets away too early, too quick, it's not that they quit, but it's a psychological thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a here we go again.
Absolutely.
Time. And they're playing at Tigard for the second year in a row after the Tigers snapped a 4-year losing streak in last year's game.
Tualatin actually leads the series 8-7 between these two schools. So Tigard a chance to even that up, and a quick lead here at 14-0.
Yeah, so far they've been impressive, but now the wind strikes. Wick set to kick it once again. And a low line driver this time. Hines will have to wait for it to stop skittering a bit. Picks it up at the 9 and had a hole. Gets it out over the 30-yard line. Good job with the downfield blocking. One man shaken up a little bit, slow to get off the field for Tualatin. That's Chandler Schoonmaker. But by far the best run back tonight, and for a minute there was a little burst.
Well, and there were a couple guys in black jerseys who were just flat-backed, pancaked. Some great blocking right in the middle of that return. So again, Tualatin gets fairly good field position as a result of the kick.
But the Timberwolves only 32 yards of total offense so far. They'll run a little counter for the first time, and it's Cooper Bruner with the ball up near the 44-yard line, and he'll get a first down on the biggest gainer of the night for the Timberwolves.
And a good play to go ahead and attack the short side of the field. Get that block right there at the point of attack with the tight end, everybody in a down block, and just try to bump the guy outside on the sweep. Good play by Bruner to pick up the yardage for the first down.
From the 44-yard line, ball lost on the exchange between Schlottman and Schroyer, and Tigard has the football. A.J. Hodgkins comes up with it on the turnover, and that's exactly the wrong thing for the Timberwolves right now. It plays right into what you were just saying about the mental momentum.
Well, and it's a mistake that they make.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that's it's an unforced error. And those are the things that you don't want to do. They compound your problem. And after a 74-yard touchdown where you feel like you totally got burned, now you put the ball on the rug and give Tigard the ball inside your 40-yard line.
Yeah, just after you've had your best play of the night, now your defense has to come right back out again. Up the middle, Green. He'll knock a couple tacklers forward and take it inside the 35-yard line. So about a 5-yard gainer there, and a man slow to get up again for Tualatin. That's Kenny Walder. They don't want to lose him, that's for sure.
Second down and 5 to go for the Tigers.
Now this is a time where Tualatin's defense needs to stand up, try to get a 3 and out.
The Tigers have not attempted a pass yet tonight. Ball stripped free. Got loose, but it's recovered by Tigard. A big break there. The Tualatin defense finally did what it needed to do, but the bounce of the football favorable, and Robbie Schabrek recovers the green fumble.
Wow.
And got it forward for a first down.
Yeah. Well, you know, you start scratching your head about now and say, what's it going to take? A perfect opportunity there with the ball on the ground and 3 Timberwolves around it.
Yep.
And
it just tumbled forward.
Stinking oblong football took a weird bounce, and Tigard winds up recovering and getting a first down.
Good job by the Timberwolves defense of making the strip, but the breaks go Tigard's way, and it's a first down again. Good cutback by Wick, and he gets away from a couple tacklers. He'll drag people forward, and he'll have a first and goal situation. Great power running that time by Wick.
Well, great power running, but also not as good at tackling as you'd want on the defense. Wick's not the most overpowering back, but he did keep his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and broke a couple tackles. And Tualatin's defense needs to rise up here, Todd.
Yep, and so far they have really not stopped the Tigers. Bad pitch. That one's loose, and a little bit of danger there because Wick was going to kind of scoop it up instead of fall on top of it, but they're able to keep the break. Austin Green there to wrap him up.
And it wasn't that the pitch was that bad. I think he actually was looking upfield. The running back looking upfield and just took his eye off the football because I thought the pitch was pretty good.
So second and goal from the 17. They'll go back to the Wildcat again with Floyd at the tailback. And remember, Jim's mentioned he has thrown from this. Bad snap.
Wow.
And he'll fall on top of. So all of a sudden the snaps are going awry for the Tigers.
That's a smart football play by Floyd.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, because a lot of bad things can happen if you try to pick that thing up and advance it, like there's 3 defenders coming bearing down your neck. So a smart football play to just fall on it, you know, line up to play another down.
Yeah, it just makes it a little more interesting. Third and goal from the 27. And now a timeout taken by Tigard as they're going to have to dig in the playbook a little bit and figure out what you do on third and goal from the 27. Not something you practice every day.
Is it just a full moon by any chance? It is Halloween month.
It's getting close.
This has been a wild
just
series
a few days
here.
past it, but midway through the second quarter here, by the way. 6:05 to play. We'll take a quick break. Tigard 14, Tualatin nothing. You're watching Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
That's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera.
And back at Douglas Memorial Field in Tigard. Third and goal from the 27 as the Tigard Tigers leading it by 2 scores. Little play action and the pass incomplete. That was close, to be honest, almost to a lateral, but it goes out of bounds either way.
Well, that's the one guy on the field you probably don't want to airmail either because Kaz is not the tallest guy on the field.
And they were going to just bring him back under in the bubble screen.
Yeah.
They had blockers set up the other way, but even just zipped that thing, and now they're trying to figure out what you do. You can't kick the field goal from here. It's 44, and Wick's longest of the year is 32. And they're going to take another timeout. Might as well go for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I suppose you could, on the other hand, the way your defense is played, you could punt and play field position and still get the ball back with time for another score.
Well, the other thing you could do is, of course, try to take a shot to the end zone. And if Tualatin actually picks the ball off deep in their own territory, you've accomplished the same thing as a
True.
punt. A lot of kids at this point want the interception as opposed to knocking the ball down. So who
As
knows?
long as you don't throw it in the end zone and get it brought back out to the 20 with
Correct.
the pick. But I almost would just pooch punt one here and dare Tualatin to do something because they have not been able to move the ball that well against your defense. They spend a minute and a half or so, punt the ball back to you, and their punting has not been all that dynamic at times. Plus, you'd have a punter perhaps kicking out of the end zone, put a little more pressure on them there.
Well, their
So.
punt formation, the punter is up pretty tight anyway,
Yeah.
so they could probably line up in something like a regular formation and simply quick kick the ball out of the backfield. But obviously there's a reason why Coach Rucker took the timeout.
Yeah, yep.
He's going to play, draw something up in the rubber on the field there.
They do have even out under center. And they are going to go for it. Backside pressure, good night. Ball loose, still scramble for it, and it's recovered by Tualatin.
And that was one of the nastiest clean hits I've seen this season. Dane Simonson came from the backside, absolutely unblocked, and just pasted Even. I'll tell you what, Even is a tough kid because he got back up. That was a shot.
So the ball at the 35-yard line. Good call by the Tualatin defensive staff. They dialed up the right blitz. And a little bit of momentum perhaps for them now from their own 35. They'll go to the air on first down. Tough pass on a great strip. That ball looked to be completed. Looked like it was in the arms of Cooper Bruner and then got stripped away late. Anthony Consolo on the coverage. But I think he really stripped the ball out of his arms.
Yeah, it was a great defensive play. The ball was caught and then knocked out because of the good strip like you called.
Schroyer with a good delivery out there, Jim, on a difficult pattern to run footwork-wise for him to his left.
Well, he's got a good arm. He can zing it in there.
They'll run the mesh again with Schlotman. He slams into the line and takes it out over the 40-yard line. And Kane Adams on the tackle for the Tigers.
When you can't underestimate how big that last series was for Tualatin on defense, because it did not look good.
You're right.
Series
again,
of
keep
fumbles.
in mind that was a 1st and goal.
That's exactly
when
right.
That series started, yeah.
Ball was on the carpet 4 times, including that big hit on Even. So Tualatin did rise up defensively. Now let's see if they can take advantage of it with the offense.
And a 3rd and 4 situation here. Counter inside, well read. There were too many men in the backfield. And the tackle made by Jake Bigelow before Cooper Bruner could figure out where to go.
Well, the worst thing that can happen when you're trying to run counter action out of the backfield is to miss the block at the line of scrimmage. And there were 3 Tiger defenders in the backfield. Bruner had absolutely no place to go.
Yep, just got shredded. Hey, the Tigers are dropping a return man this time.
Well, there you go.
Did it before halftime even. Robbie Schabrek back deep for the kick from Austin Green. Very high kick to the sideline. Schabrek waving at fair catch. Backs away and now takes it. Yeah, he waved for a fair catch. He can't run with it after that. They're going to flag him. Yep, big mistake there. He waved fair catch, ran out of the way. Then as the ball got deeper, he said, well, I better go do something, and he made the wrong decision.
Well, Todd, here's the other thing. If I'm watching what Tigard is doing on the punts, they were in full drop back mode. They only had 5 yards to get a first down.
Good point.
And I would not be surprised if they talk about that kind of adjustment if they're in a similar situation, because Tigard sent absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody was in retreat. And with 5 yards, it would have been an easy.
In a favorable position out near the 40. Now, the one little caveat to that, I would say, is that Austin Green isn't exactly the fastest scooter from back there.
No, but you don't have to be if you only need 5 yards.
Exactly, when they all turn heads, yeah. Officials still conferring.
I don't think there's any question that he waved for a fair catch, then he caught it, and then he ran. Okay.
No, I don't know which one it is now. They said running with it after the fair catch. First they said it was a legal procedure. Then they said it was delay a game, whatever.
Well, it's bad either way.
It's 4.5 yards no matter what.
That's right.
That's the big key. Trying to advance the fair catch. So they'll have it at their own 5. And again, just thinking through, instead of it being down at the Tualatin end as we thought was possible, it all turns the other way. And now Tigard has to come out of its own end with 4.5 to go.
Well, and the guys in white, the T-Wolves, got to be pretty fired up here.
Yep. They'll run a little bit of a stunt. And they ran into a good spot. Good call that time, and sliding down the line to make the tackle was Simonson again, the man who blasted Jet Even on the last series.
Very active from the defensive end position. And I'll tell you, that's a football player that can make that play, tackling the back who's got a running start and hold him to a 3-yard gain. Great play by Simonson there.
Floyd was the ball carrier that time. He'll line up at tailback again behind Hodgkins on 2nd down. Floyd on the sweep, right side, has a hole. Got a great lead block from Hodgkins, breaks another tackle, and it takes a solid open field tackle by Zach Sultan to bring him down, just short of the 30.
So when they run sweep, the back is looking for that shoot between the corner and the linebacker, and he did such a great job there of the cutback. And then again, 2 missed tackles by Tualatin, and Tigard's got something dialed up here again.
And if he didn't have to cut back, he would 2 more steps and Sultan wouldn't have caught him. Even checking his backfield on 1st down. And they'll give it to Floyd again, right side. Takes it over the 30-yard line, drags James Porter with him to pick up positive yardage.
Well, it's a good thing Porter was there because there really wasn't any backside support once Porter made the tackle. So good play by James Porter to hold him to a 5-yard gain.
Just a second, they would like you to see which school will win in a pull-up challenge. You can do your pull-ups by the Hummer and Dan drill instructor at halftime or any
Wick
time
in this time as the tailback on 2nd down.
Keep track of who's winning, Tigard or Tualatin.
Wick left side, tried to cut it back, only got about a yard. That time Dane Simonson was in the hole with some help from Austin Green.
Great job defensively because Tigard just lines up in the I formation, just a power right off the guard and the center. Simonson and Green, great job on the play there, and really only about a yard gain.
So 3rd and medium here, 3rd and 5 for the Tigers with less than 2.5 to play in the half. Wick stays as the tailback, and they'll run as much time as they can here. And Wick through the right side. Big hole there, 1st down and more. Wick slanting it outside, breaks an ankle tackle. One man with an angle left is Schlottman, and he will drag him down at the 25-yard line. 43 more yards on that carry for Wick. That's his longest run of the year.
Well, and just some great open field moves, keeping the defense off balance. He went into the game with 42 carries and 267 yards. He's adding to that total. And Schlottman for Tualatin, a great job of taking the right angle and then making sure he finished off the play before Wick had a chance to score.
Yeah, that's your number 3 yardage guy at tailback, although they all are outstanding running backs. But a big run there, and instead of thinking, well, we've got a punt, now you're thinking to get it in the end zone again with 1:40 to play.
You don't know where the danger's coming from with the backs for Tigard.
Floyd, the tailback. They'll run the jet sweep this time. First time, good cutback by Green to turn it upfield. Got stopped by Will Chapman along with some help from Kenny Walder. It's a dangerous combination because you go jet man, you pull it back. You got 2 great ball handlers there, 2 great runners.
Coach Haston was quoted in the paper, the local paper here, saying Tigard has weapons at every position. They can score at any point on the field. So you look at that and go, whoa, that's an impressive group of athletes.
Floyd at the tailback. Fakes, he'll keep it this time right side. Weaves his way through some defenders. That was just good individual effort that time because the blocks weren't really there.
Keep in mind, Tigard, with the timeout situation here, not able to stop the clock.
Right.
Although it's stopped now because of, what, did they call it a first down? They're going to measure. So they actually catch a break there. So the question is, do they have one timeout left?
I think they have one left, right?
They
used 2 on the defense.
They have
used
none.
All 3, okay.
Yeah, so they took one early in the first series, and then they called 2
on the
during that kind of strange series where they had the ball on the ground 4 times.
And they really ran a lot of time off the clock before calling for the timeout for measurement, but 42 seconds left, and they're really in the situation of spotting the ball. Wisely here, the Tigers are out of the huddle and ready to come to the line as soon as the ball's spotted.
Well, and they also had enough time to talk to Coach Rucker, so they've got multiple plays called, one at least 2.
Agreed.
Line up if they're going to try to run the football, spike it if they have to, or maybe take a couple shots at the end zone here.
Well, they've got 3rd and inches, so they can pick up the first down and immediately get the next play ready. And then, as you said, either spike it or run plays from there.
Yeah, so this really turns out to be a big break for Tigard.
Be interesting to see whether they put somebody under center, even is still on the sideline. So they're going to stay with the Wildcat. We'll see whether or not they move Floyd up under center at all. Now they've got 2 running backs in the backfield, no quarterback. Floyd fakes it and goes for the throw. Oh my, touchdown Tigard. Great call on a 3rd and inches. They go to the pass, and Floyd has done it before, and they get another TD.
Well, and the great part about the play is that defensively you have to plan for the run. So out of the Wildcat, Floyd's burned you on so many other possessions. This time he fakes the sweep, steps back 2 steps, and throws to a wide open receiver, and Tigard gets another score right before the half, which is huge and really a dagger for Tualatin.
Connor Olson with the touchdown catch. Wick adds the extra point. And I've got to be honest, Jim, when that play started, I watched Floyd go to the right, all the interference and the lead blockers went to the left, and I thought, what in the heck is he doing? But he drew defenders that way to make the pass even easier. And that was not one of those little wobbly halfback option passes you see. He zipped that ball.
Well, so they've got a quarterback and even that can throw the football pretty well. Now you add to that a guy that can throw the ball accurately from the Wildcat. Coach Haston was right. They have a lot of weapons and a lot of very impressive athletes.
It's a 26-yard TD pass. By the way, that's their first completed pass of the night. 1 for 2 now.
And a touchdown.
And a TD, yeah. Good quarterback rating.
And not from the quarterback.
But exactly what we said earlier in the quarter. Tualatin needed to do something, needed to prevent Tigard from scoring again. Neither one happened. Now they're down 3 scores going to the locker room.
Well, and the Tualatin coaching staff will have their hands full at halftime to try to make sure they can interject some energy into their football team, because they're going down at least 21 down in the first half in this big Pacific Conference game.
Barring a big play here from Hines, who does have pretty good speed and has a hole up the middle. They're going to drag him down outside the 45-yard line, so Hines lifting his teammates. He bounces up off the field, tries to give him a little energy.
Well, and there is energy. You look over there to the sideline. There are guys slapping high fives, bouncing guys around. And in the big picture, this is the kind of thing where that return does put a little energy back into the T-Wolves.
Yeah,
and they need it.
But you can step into a cover 2 here and just play some prevent against a team that hasn't been able to throw the ball downfield so far. Schroyer will step in. 24 seconds left in the half, and they'll go play action. Good protection for him. Over the middle, gets the fullback inside the 35-yard line. Austin Green, the reception for the first down.
And they do have timeouts. Tualatin has got 2 with 17 seconds left to go, so a big play down the middle. Clock is stopped because moving of the chains, and look, Tualatin's right up ready to go as soon as the ball is in play.
And the first completion of the night for Schroyer gives them a first down. Good protection again as he steps through, slings it sidearm, incomplete as it goes in and out of the hands of Brennan Symes. And he was saying, I got interfered with. The officials said no. And again, it was Consolo, who has had really good timing in breaking up those passes so far tonight.
Well, between him and Rasmussen, those 2 guys have done a great job on the receivers, because, again, they're getting there right at the right time. It's not pass interference. They're just making a great defensive play to knock the ball down.
8.7 seconds left, so they'll have to hurry to get more than 1 play in. Backside pressure, they'll throw a screen underneath, and that's stripped away. They nearly took Schroyer's head off, and the pass intended for Schlottman goes incomplete. Good read there again. Bigelow was amongst the defenders on that screen.
Well, and Tigard is playing their corners right up in press coverage with no free safety help. So I'm a little surprised that Tualatin has not gone to a fade or streak route to the outside receiver where it's one-on-one. But you got to have time to do that, to throw the football. And Schroyer has not had a lot of time because of Tigard pressure.
Well, you want to know one of the reasons why they might have been successful? They just ran a 12th player off the field back over to the sidelines. They've got 11 out there now on what should be the final play of the half, barring a penalty. Schroyer under pressure, gets it away, and it's batted incomplete. Schroyer just dodged as two defenders ran into one another after the play, and they're a little groggy getting up out there at midfield as a couple of the Tiger players are taking a look at Kane Adams, who's up slowly and kind of hobbling back to the huddle. All Tigard in the first half as they get set for homecoming festivities. A big band on hand. The homecoming queen in the court. Heck, they had a parade before the ball game even. It's going to be a long halftime here. You'll get to see it all as the PlayOn Sports halftime show will come your way next. Halftime here at Douglas Memorial Field with our score. The Tigard Tigers 21 and the Tualatin Timberwolves nothing. You're watching Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
We can get a player up here.
Ah, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
We can get a player up here.
Ah, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to PlayOnSports.com/SBP.
bar said hi. Anything can happen if you just try. Anything can happen, you understand? Anything can happen in marching band.
here comes the Tigard High School Pep Band. They're joined tonight by the advanced bands from Tualatin and Fowler, with band directors Lisa Haswiki and Brandon Van Dyke. They'll be playing to your Tigerettes and Protege. Tigerettes are coached by Linda Sharon and will perform that crowd favorite, Eye of the Tiger. Tigard High School Pep Band, once again joined tonight by the advanced bands from Tualatin and Fowler. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we're all here for tonight, especially the Tigard High School 2012 Homecoming Court. And take a moment. Tigard High School Homecoming Court. The representative for the freshman class, the freshman princess, is Mason Gray, being escorted by her father, Robin Gray. The freshman prince is Kenny White, being escorted by his sister, Sierra. Your sophomore princess is Ellie Dean, being escorted by her brother, Alex Dean. And your sophomore prince is Corey Fusick, being escorted by his mother, Tony Fusick. Your junior princess is Mika Green, being escorted by her father, Ralph Green. Your junior prince is Nick Wandersack, being escorted by his mother, Tracy Wandersack. Your first senior princess is Megan Reisinger, being escorted by her mother, Vicki Reisinger. Your first senior prince is Brian Josephson, being escorted by his mother, Joyce Josephson. Your next senior princess is Rachel Ramirez, being escorted by her father, Dan Ramirez. And your next senior prince is DJ De La Cruz, being escorted by his mother, Noel De La Cruz. And your last senior princess is Katie Harbaugh, being escorted by her father, Jim Harbaugh. And your last senior prince is Lynn Fu, being escorted by Bailey Ryan. homecoming coach. On the field, behind all of your homecoming court prospects, Mark Neffendorf, our principal here at the school, Barb Proctor, associate principal. Mark and Barb, who are the homecoming queen and king? The 2012 homecoming queen is Megan Reisenberg. The 2012 homecoming king, Lynn Fu. Congratulations, Billy Queen. Congratulations to all the senior princes and princesses, and our special thanks to Queen Megan and King Lynn.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot this.
We can get a player up here. Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And we welcome you back to Douglas Memorial Field, where there's been a major upset as the freshman class float has just been awarded the best float prize here at homecoming. Freshmen never win at homecoming. Everybody knows that.
They do at Tigard.
They're meant to suffer for 4 years, and then they win when they're seniors.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many freshmen turn out for Color Wars either. You'd never win. All right. So congratulations to the freshman class as they win the homecoming float competition here. Just a minor detail in what has been a very strong Tigard performance so far. Tigard with 253 yards of total offense, 236 running, 17 passing. And Tualatin with a total of 61 yards of total offense, 21 rushes for 43 yards, so just barely 2 a carry, while Tigard is just a hair under 9 per carry. That kind of sums it all up, Jim.
Well, and statistically, they're leading in every category, including time of possession and, of course, on the scoreboard, 21-0.
Well, actually, Tigard's under by 5 minutes on time of possession, you mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Tigard gets the ball after deferring the coin flip.
That's exactly right.
So Caio Alves will handle the kicking duties for the Timberwolves.
Number 50 with the kickoff for Tualatin.
And it is Cos Green and Zach Floyd back deep. Floyd to take this one inside the 10 and a hole, and he's gone. It's going to be a foot race in the opening kick. Oh, nice job of pursuit. And what looked to be a breakaway touchdown. Great closing speed there by Nick Hines, and that's the only guy, the kick return man from Tualatin, who could have caught him and did.
A combination of his speed and a great angle. Otherwise, Floyd's gone. What great blocking, again, special teams-wise, right at the point of the wedge, right there in the middle of the field. And the thing that impressed me is Floyd hit that thing at 100 miles an hour.
Huge hole.
Not a person was going to touch him.
And what we've talked about with momentum and emotion comes right back tumbling on top of Tualatin again with the opening kick. Now they've got to defend short field against Tigard.
Now, I'm sure the coaches said, look, we go out and put one up right away on them, the game could effectively be over. We'll take their spirit right out of their body.
Green, the tailback, on first down from the 25. He'll try to veer left, cuts back into the middle, nearly broke that, and winds up turning into about a 4-yard carry. Good job of reacting. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, not only does he have great speed, Todd, but his vision. His vision to be able to cut back. He saw there was nothing outside, and on a dime, he put that foot in the ground and cut back, got a couple extra yards. Very impressive.
After the next play,
5'6", 150 they list him as, but you got to think he could do some programs some good. Up the middle again, he just squirts through so well, and you've got to give credit again to the linemen. They're opening those seams and those creases as they pick up another first down. Schlottman coming up from the free safety spot to make the tackle.
I mean, look at how many defensive linemen are 3 yards down the field. I mean, the Tigard offensive line is just doing a great job firing off the football. They have owned the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there are very few times when the first line for Tualatin's got a hand on the ball carrier. It's second level almost every time. Green to the outside, 10-5, score.
Touchdown!
simple little run, but the line just seals it so beautifully, Jim.
Well, and Tualatin certainly with their hands full. We mentioned at the top of the show, they'd only given up 37 points in 5 games. They've given up 28 to the Tigers in a half and a couple minutes.
Yeah. Minute 12 on the short drive, the 25-yard drive. And the bell ringing again here at Douglas Field. A lot of folks will tell you right now that may be the victory bell as Wick adds the extra point. And just like that, they come down the field and step on the gas again. Green with his 3rd touchdown run of the night now. 25, 74, and 15 for his scores.
Well, and Tigard came out with such great purpose knowing they were going to get the football back. And I'm almost positive they talked about things like, fellas, if we put one on them in this first drive, we will literally take their will and their spirit out of these fellas. And, you know, it's bad enough being down 21, but now they're down 28 points with a lot of football left. And at this point, it doesn't look to me, Todd, like Tualatin has an answer to how to stop Tigard. They just come from so many different places with so many different guys. They have dug themselves a big hole.
And on top of that, your offense, which as we said has only managed to put together 61 yards of total offense, is literally in a must-score situation now.
Well, and must pass the ball, which means the Tigard defense is going to pin their ears back and just bring heat on Schroyer the rest of the night.
Schlottman and Hines back deep again for the Timberwolves as once again the wind blows the ball off the tee.
Well, and I had heard before the game some folks talking about how does Tualatin or Tigard wind up being ranked higher than Tualatin in one of the polls, 5 versus 7 when Tigard's got a loss. Well, they lost to a really good football team, and I think we're seeing tonight why they're the 5th ranked and maybe even better than that. They have got an impressive football team.
Yep, and ranked as high as we said as 2nd in some of the polls.
I believe it.
Wick with his best kick of the night, and that'll be a touchback over the goal line. Finally got the foot into it the way we've seen him earlier in the season, and Hines had to drift behind the goal line to make the catch.
And that's a big defensive play, really, when you think about it, because with as well as Tualatin has done the whole game in returning kicks, to kick it in the end zone and the ball goes at the 20, that's a big deal.
Breeze was at his back as it picks up a little bit, so that was a bit of a help, but it was still very solidly hit.
Press box. You're $268.50 richer.
So the Timberwolves down 4 scores now. Go to the air immediately. Slant deflected, almost picked. Second man did not really see it and make a break on the ball as it was batted away by Zach Floyd. Tried to find Bruner.
And Tualatin will need to, go pretty deep in the playbook because Tigard has effectively stopped any of their base plays, any slants, any crossing routes. They've just covered them all very well.
Now, Century, when we were here earlier in the year, was able to beat some of this press coverage with tall, quick receivers. But so far, Tualatin has not shown anybody to have the speed and the height to be able to defeat the man-to-man coverage. Short handoff on that run to Austin Green, and it's going to be a 3rd and long.
Well, they're playing man coverage on the outside with the safety in the middle of the field. As a receiver, the key is get off the line of scrimmage quickly. So if it's fade route or slant or post, you can get yourself open. What I've noticed in watching the game is Tualatin's corners are doing a great job of keeping the wide receivers locked up at the line of scrimmage. It's all timing, and the timing's been off.
It has been off, and Schroyer's had to wait, and the receivers have had to wait for the delivery. 3rd and long here. Schroyer steps up into it, throwing underneath, incomplete. A little bit behind his receivers. They try to run a bubble there for Bruner with a downfield blocker, but he drops it, and it's a 3 and out for Tualatin.
Well, and the killer is once you've got it set up and actually a good block, you got to catch the football. And Bruner simply didn't catch it that time, and Tualatin's got to give the ball back to a very explosive Tigard offense.
Robbie Schabrek drops back deep in return formation, standing inside the midfield stripe, though, as they'll scrimmage this one from the 21-yard line with Austin Green set to punt. Little end-over-end kick, tried to kick it away from Schabrek and does, but it takes a reverse bounce. It'll roll out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Tigard.
Ends up on the Tigard 46.
A 33-yard punt with no return. And again, great field position for this explosive Tigard offense.
And they will, really, they don't need to throw the football. They've been so effective running the ball. And they've got so many weapons, as we've mentioned before, that Tualatin has got to prove that they can stop the run first. They're up to rushing yard-wise, 261 yards already here to start the third quarter.
And they will just keep the ball on the ground. And another big gainer and about a half an ankle away from another touchdown as Cos Green nearly took another one, but he'll get a first down at the 37-yard line.
And we really do need to give credit to the linemen for Tigard. I mean, again, on that play, Tualatin had 3 of their defensive linemen on their heels as if they were in a skating rink just being pushed down the field. And if you don't own the line of scrimmage, you're not going to win the football game. Tigard and those big guys up front doing an absolutely terrific job.
As well as Hodgkins, the up back, blocking as well. Green picking his way left side. Only got about a yard that time. One of the better jobs of the night for the Tualatin defense. Led that time by Cooper Bruner.
Well, Tualatin is quick enough because of their active linebackers that plays on the perimeter are a lot easier for them to defend. Where they've gotten hurt tonight is where Tigard runs it right at you. And that's been the big challenge for the Timberwolves. They just have not had an answer in the middle of the field.
Green out of the lineup now. Wick at the tailback position on 2nd and 9. They'll run the little counter with him right side. Just weaves his way through, breaks another tackle, gets inside the 25 for another first down before he's tackled by Will Chapman.
So they are literally in between the tackles, Todd, just gashing the Tualatin defense. I mean, they're just, they have pinned their ears back, and now it's just a matter of will and strength, and their running backs are smart enough and good enough to see the crease and run, north to south in this case, and get big yardage. 12
more yards on that carry for Wick. Takes Tigard over 300 yards of total offense now in the ball game, and we still have 8.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Wick at tailback from the 24, and the Tigers will be happy to continue to run the ball all night. Gains about a yard that time as the left side of the Tualatin defense responds. Will Chapman along with James Porter on the tackle.
And again, they try to get the ball outside. Tualatin does a pretty good job. And part of that is that the big guys up front for Tigers line are a lot better blocking their man straight up as opposed to the quickness that you need on the line of scrimmage to get those perimeter plays to work really well.
Even with the signal. And they'll go play action. Go to the air again. Slant pass intercepted. Good read by Bruner. The pass was a little behind the receiver, but he makes the pick, and Tualatin able to force a turnover and get the ball at the 14-yard line. Vital stop there.
Well, that was big. If Tualatin has any chance in the football game, they could not let Tigard score on that drive. And Bruner came up with a big play. Even if he had a chance to do it again, would not make that throw with 3 men over the top. Easy interception for Bruner.
And you got to believe that somewhere on the Tigard coaching headset somewhere right now there is somebody going, see what happens when we pass?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of coaches that like the pass that's about a 1 yard, 1-footer from the quarterback to a back.
Tigard pressuring Schroyer. He gets away from one tackle and then gets popped after a gain of about 3 yards. Took a big hit there from Consolo.
Credited with the tackle, number 84 for the Tigers.
Well, and actually, it felt like he ran enough to get 3 yards, and in the end, he loses one.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Other side of that one. Thanks.
He did run 20 yards to lose 1.
Yeah, he's at the 14, loss of 1 rather than up at the 19.
And here again, Tigard knows that Tualatin's going to have to throw the football, and they are just putting a lot of pressure on Schroyer, the quarterback for the T-Wolves.
From the gun, backside pressure, arm hit, nearly intercepted. As his arm got hit, that ball got deflected, and it was such a quick rope. Just not enough time for the defender to react. That was Nick Grawn, and he nearly had a gift 6. Could not hang on to the ball.
Well, that's one of those deals where the ball actually, you're a D lineman, okay? The ball actually is coming right at you. You see it, It's almost slow motion, and yet you can't catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll have nightmares on that one for a while tonight.
He could have literally caught it and walked into the end zone.
And I think it was Bigelow who got the quarterback's arm. I'm not 100% sure. Schroyer now on a 3rd and 11. And they'll run the ball with Schlottman. Broke one tackle, could not quite get far enough. He's going to be about a yard short, and a nice carry there.
Well, and even on that play, Tualatin living on the edge as Schroyer just about didn't get the ball on the exchange to Schlottman.
Yep. Punt team coming on the field apparently here for Tualatin. Do you dare take a gamble here?
You know,
I mean, what, 28-35, what's the difference right now?
Here's the case. If they were to snap the ball to the up back, even with Tigard in retreat, you could pick up the 2 yards.
Looked at it. They did have a contained man there to prevent his run. Fair catch signaled for that time by Schabrek, and he'll have it at the 40-yard line. 37-yard punt, no return. So the Timberwolves get the turnover, but they're unable to do anything with it. As the windy night here continues. Supposed to be winds through most of the weekend, but Sunday finally drop off. But I'll tell you what, is this the greatest October weather any of us can ever remember?
And it's really amazing that we've gone through a full month of September with football, and now we're into the October, and it's still this nice.
A perfect night for football again. And you can say what you want to in the Northwest about rain and how much we should have at this point, but if you're a football fan, this is just great weather. Zach Floyd carrying on first down. 3 more yards for Floyd.
And it is that time of year where, you know, fall hits and the wind blows and all the leaves fall out of the trees, and there'll be weekend work that many will be doing.
I should warn you, partner, one of the local meteorologists said there might be a chance of that R stuff next Friday.
Oh, great.
Just so you know. Another solid run between the tackles as Zach Floyd carries it for the Tigers. And again has to be hit deep by one of the corners, Randall Tainer. Secondary's making too many stops for the Timberwolves.
Way too many stops. And speaking of next Friday, you and I will be separated.
I know, they give us 1 week together and split us up again.
I know, I'll be at Wilsonville for the big 5A rivalry between Sherwood and Wilsonville.
And we'll also have one of the key games in Southwest Washington for you next week as Camas, which was impressive last week against Skyview, takes on Union. Ball tapped and just batted away. Nice coverage by Schlottman on the pass that was intended for Olsen, whose uniform needs to get pulled back out so that we can actually read the 3 and the 0 on the front. Schlottman with a good close on that at the end, Jim.
Well, he did a great job from the free safety position of reading the quarterback's eyes, jumped the route, almost had the interception. And Andrew Schlottman has really stepped up. Again, we talk about the loss of Jeff Williams to an ACL injury, and Schlottman has really had to step up and take that place not only offensively but defensively as well.
Even looking to throw, a little pass into the flat, complete. First down just inside the 40-yard line. Some nice running after the catch on the pass to Bigelow.
Pass complete to number 84.
Jake Bigelow, the tight end. They don't give him a good spot on it. They may bring it back to measure, but the officials are going to bring the sticks in and take a look at that one. So, that Wilsonville-Sherwood game is going to be a great one next week.
Should be a dandy. Both teams obviously in a position in the league where they're undefeated. It's funny in the Northwest Conference how those two teams are usually in the hunt for first place. The game this year for Sherwood on the road at Randall Stadium in Wilsonville. It'll be a good one. Sherwood still ranked number 1 in the state at the 5A level. Wilsonville certainly has their mindset on changing that. Now, I was going to predict they were short by an inch, and they're short by about an inch. I didn't get it in quick enough.
I knew that's what you were going to do, though. So,
Third down and inches.
Although interestingly, the Tigers sprint another player off the field while the chain gang was measuring. It's perhaps gone undetected tonight.
Well, and you've been able to see some really good football in Southwest Washington as well.
A little bit. We've got 3 games this season as a part of our PlayOn sports package in the Portland metro area. And Camas, very impressive, as we said a week ago, knocking off Skyview, which was the state runner-up at the 4A, Washington's largest level last year, and 4-time defending league champ. Camas, the inside track. If they defeat Union, they should be in pretty good shape. We'll also have Union against Skyview a little later in the season as well. And Battleground doing a pretty good job. In the Greater St. Helens League as well. So 3rd and short, the Wildcat well defended by the Timberwolves. Really did a nice job of shooting guys through that time. Dane Simonson and Kenny Walder on the tackle for a loss and a 4th down.
Well, and I like to see that. I mean, that tells you that Tualatin still got some fight in them.
Yep.
They didn't even give up the inch. They brought it on defense. So a really good job by the T-Wolves. And, of course, Tigard will go for it here on 4th down, too far for a field goal. They feel pretty comfortable and confident they can get that 1 yard. Let's see if Tualatin can man up again and stop them this time, get the ball back.
They'll go to the man in front of the Wildcat again. Floyd in that Wildcat spot. He'll run it this time. Huge hole. 30 and more. Just picks his way through defenders. Looked like a face mask to bring him down as well, but no flag. Takes it to the 13-yard line. It's a 26-yard gain and another 1st down. And he's still down, and I really do think, Jim, somebody got him by the mask there.
Well,
he's showing it.
He's actually, looks like he's got his fingers up around his eyes.
Yeah,
like,
he's
wow,
telling the refs.
Poked me right in the face because of a face mask. But, here's the strength of the Wildcat.
And he's stopping right there.
Yeah. The strength of that Wildcat formation is that you're snapping the football directly to a guy who knows how to run as a back. And Floyd has done such a great job of being able to identify the hole right away. And with his speed, strength, and quickness, he's able to get to that hole. And what really only needed to be about a 2-yarder to get a 1st down, he gets a gain of about 20-some yards. And now Tigard is knocking at the door again. So, again, this is going back to the weapons and how do you defend all of these different types of players? It's tough, and Tigard is really putting a mark on this thing tonight.
35-7 a year ago, and they're knocking on the door of 35-0 here. Wick with the pitch. Good job to get into the backfield that time. Really close it down. Dane Simonson there again.
We've called his number 65 quite a few times. And they really have in a game, even at this point, there have been some great defensive plays. Some kids really doing a great job for Tualatin, but it's just been, the 11 guys on the other side of the ball have done just that much better.
Green comes out. They kind of reshuffle the personnel around a little bit. And Green will be the tailback in another Wildcat formation. Some confusion, though, as they did not have all the personnel out there they wanted. And timeout will be called by the Tigers. All those great games we talked about. Keep in mind, too, that when the playoffs roll around, PlayOnSports.com will have Friday night football for you every Friday night. We'll have a playoff game. In fact, 2 of them every Friday night from around the region as we head towards the OSAA championships.
Well, and that's going to be exciting because it hasn't been that way in years past where you get all those games with 2 playoff games a Friday night. That's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be great for the fans and great for people on PlayOn Sports to be able to actually see the game as it's being called, especially if you've got relatives from either the state
anywhere,
or anywhere around. They can get on to PlayOnSport.com, or locally they can jump on OSAA.tv. They can see games as well on the archive, so you can watch it at your convenience. I also think it's really neat, that feature that PlayOn's got where they feature highlight plays. That's a really neat thing that you can do as well. Yeah, kind of handy to have too.
Manu Rasmussen coming out onto the field. First time he's been out on offense tonight. We saw him play very well in the game against Century, as he's a wide receiver to the left side. Even stays on the sideline. It is Wick in front of Green. And a little option right. Green says, well, there's the hole. To heck with the pitch. I think if he'd given it up late, they might have had another score. Wick was not defended.
Well, one of those things where he probably doesn't work that much on the read and the pitch. Most of the time he's going to get the ball directly and run it.
Yeah, and there was daylight there for him. But if he, again, I agree with you, a seasoned option quarterback sees that and makes that late pitch, and it's a walk into the end zone. Now, confusion here. Man went to the huddle, then came back out again. On third down, they'll stay with the Wildcat look. Green broke it back outside, steps underneath a couple tacklers. Flag thrown as he gets hit solidly by Schlottman. I think we might have a hold here, Jim.
And that came all the way from the back judge.
Well, the Tigard players are clapping, so face mask gets called now. And I will tell you, on the play, when Floyd was shaken up, both players and coaches talked to Dave Bergman about watching for the face mask, and they get a call here. Half the distance is going to take it, I believe, to a first down. They may need to measure it. Nope. It is going to be first and goal. Yep, that's the call.
First down for the Tigers.
So the ball just inside the 4.
4-yard line, first and goal to go from the 4.
And they'll spread defenders out. Floyd back in on the field. He's at the tailback spot, even in at the quarterback. Floyd, right side, tried to break it back over, gets pushed back. First man to him was Will Chapman for the Timberwolves.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I don't think there'll be any surprise here that the ball's going to be handed off. I would expect that Tigard will run right at Tualatin. They've had great success in between the tackles.
Quick hustle up play. Floyd right side dives. Touchdown, Tigard.
So a little toss sweep play where Floyd is able to actually decide whether he wants to take it around the outside, but he found a little seam right outside the tackle, was able to get the ball across the goal line, and Tigard now moves ahead 34-0 in what has been an absolutely dominating performance.
Second score of the quarter for the Tigers. And these Timberwolves, who had hoped to avenge last year's loss, will get to the extra point, but that's about their only consolation on the play. 1 minute, 21 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Our score, Tigard 34, Tualatin nothing. We'll be back in a minute on Friday Night Football. You're watching PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
And back at Douglas Memorial Field, it has thus far been a very happy homecoming for the Tigard Tigers fans as they lead their rivals, the Tualatin Timberwolves, looking to hand the Timberwolves their first loss of the season and to take over sole possession of the lead in the Pacific Conference. That kick's going to roll out of bounds, and the flag will be thrown. Tigard 4-1 with a non-league loss to Aloha, 3-0 in conference, and Tualatin 2-0 in the Pacific Conference coming into this game. Tualatin will finish up with McMinnville, Century, and Glencoe, and Tigard finishes with Hillsboro, Newburgh, and Forest Grove. And Jim, I think it's a safe bet to say both teams can count on some postseason action.
No question. But coming out of this game, Tigard will definitely have the upper hand in the conference. They continue to have the upper hand with their crosstown rival, as this will be, unless something miraculous happens, this will be the second year where they've dominated this rivalry.
From the 35, Schlottman straight ahead running, spins around a tackler, and he'll get 9 on that first play from scrimmage on this possession. One other important thing to keep in mind, it's the OSAA's rankings, despite what everybody else says, that determines where you get seated in the playoffs. And coming into tonight, the OSAA's power rankings have Tigard at number 2 a win over another top team is just going to help cement their standing in the playoff chase. Schlottman, good cutback to get the first down and run into Tigard territory. But this and that whole power formula equation is a quality win over a quality opponent will boost things up further for the Tigers.
No question about that, and well deserved. I mean, we've seen a lot of football in this 2012 campaign, and Tigard at the 6A level is as good as any team that I've certainly seen.
I think what might be an interesting matchup for them, we'll get to it after this play. Schlottman around the right side, and he'll get another good carry down to about the 40. And I will preface this by saying I have not seen everyone, especially Sheldon, for example, who's number 1 in 2 or 3 of the polls. I think Jesuit might make an interesting matchup for this Tiger team simply because of the gap control that they might have with their size against the running attack of Tigard.
Yeah, I think one of the things about Jesuit this year is that they, rather than in years past, they look vulnerable to me. They've played in some really close games, so it's not that same dominating performance by the Golden Domers.
First down at the 35-yard line on the runaround end by Schlottman. One Tigard player getting up a little bit slowly and headed over to the sidelines, shaken up after that play. That's Benny Wick. And they'll take a look at him as we change ends of the field. End of 3 quarters. It's all Tigard so far. The Tigers 34. The Tualatin Timberwolves nothing. You're watching Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
Match away from immortality.
Friday Night Football coming your way from Tigard, Oregon. A scoreboard from the class of 2011 shows the Tigers leading at 34-0 as we get set to start the 4th quarter. And the Tualatin Timberwolves running. Schlottman again breaks a hole, and he's down inside the 25-yard line before he's tackled that time. And taking a look at some of the numbers out there, it looks like there are a few reserves on the defense. Not to make any accounting for what has been a good running night for Schlottman. There are a few starters out there as well. But right now, Schlottman with his best running series of the night.
Well, and he started the game that way. He's done a great job. That's the one bright spot for the Timberwolves is Andrew Schlottman.
They run the inside little wing counter again to Green. The problem with that one, Schlottman was by the quarterback practically before the ball was there. Dead giveaway. He wasn't getting it. So Tigers flowed to the ball well, held Green to a gain of 3. First time to the red zone tonight for the Timberwolves as the ball is at the 20. Tualatin with 115 yards of total offense to Tigard's 362. 336 of that on the ground. Little mesh pulled back by the quarterback, and Schroyer leans forward for a couple more, maybe 3. His first intended carry of the night as they spotted at the 17.
And the game really started out, Todd, very, very good for Tualatin. In their first series, they were able to move the ball pretty well. They got the benefit of a penalty in that first drive. They came back very nicely, moved the ball past their 40, and then Tigard rose up on defense. And it's really been a series of early mistakes by Tualatin and just an explosive offense, really not knowing where the ball's going to be coming from by Tigard that's really made this game what it is at this point, 34-0.
So Tigard calling timeout. You see the coaches conferring here on the sideline. There was a little bit of a chat right here because they did not have the proper personnel out on the field again, and the coaches had to burn another timeout. And they're trying to get everybody lined up and straightened out here. So a little bit of frustration in that they had to burn another timeout. Obviously a situation where it won't harm them too much. But you want to tell your kids, too, everybody's got to be there. Everybody's got to be ready to step in at the proper time.
Well, and the lecture starts something like this. Fellas, This is an opportunity for you to play when you're supposed to be on the field as the number 2 guy. Get your rear end on the field. And I think that's the problem, is they didn't have the right personnel in. They're trying to get some other kids into the game here defensively.
Yeah.
And when you tell a kid, hey, here's your chance, you need to be in on this play, he doesn't respond and they have to burn a timeout. Coaches don't like that.
Yep, the first few words were to the grown-ups instead. And now they're trying to get people out on the field again. A little confusion for the Tigers. Schlattman gets just wrapped up immediately in the backfield. That time, black jerseys coming at him both directions, and he had nowhere to go.
Well, that's almost like they're in your huddle. They know exactly what the play is going to be and who's going to get it. And you feel bad for Schlattman because literally there were 4 guys in the backfield. There was nobody blocking for Tualatin.
Timeout taken momentarily as the helmet came off of Will Chapman, the center. So to add to everything else right now, it's 4th down, and your starting center has to leave because his helmet came off. So you've got to bring in your backup center on a 4th down play.
Well, so that's just a warning that, you know, if something happens between the quarterback and center exchange, it would not be a big surprise. Backup center comes in without snapping a football, and now they're going to have him snap it in a little shotgun. Good snap.
Pitch to Schlattman. They try to get him outside. Tigard flows to it and stops him. Turns him back inside, and they'll stop him at the 20. And the Timberwolves come away empty again.
Turnover on downs.
Well, Tigard just simply has been the better football team, offensively, defensively, special teams. And they put it on Tualatin from the very get-go, and then they haven't taken their foot off the gas. They are just continually, you know, on the offense, so to speak. And you can tell with time of possession, they've had the ball almost 22 minutes of this football game. And in pretty much every statistical category, it's Tigard dominating.
Yeah, and remember, they were almost 5 minutes behind in time of possession at halftime. Now they're up by 5, so they really dominated in that third quarter. Little flex on the line, and that'll cost them 5. One of the few misfires tonight for either team in what's been a fairly cleanly played ball game. But that will set Tigard back 5 yards.
Tigard's been penalized up to this point 4 times, total of 94 yards. Tualatin, on the other hand, only 2 penalties for 17 yards, so it really hasn't been the penalties or the mistakes. It's the mistakes more than the penalties, like the turnovers. Tigard now almost to 100 yards in penalty yardage.
Yeah, they have almost as much penalty yardage as they've given up defensively all night. Green and white shirts there in a hurry. They're, again, not letting up at all. First man was Kenny Walder to the ball carrier. But there are about 4 jerseys with him.
Well, and Kenny Walder talked before the game about how excited he was as a senior, remembering last year a 35-7 loss.
And again, timeout taken here, but you see Coach Recker arguing with the officials. He's really been upset about a call, and I think he used this timeout to bend an ear more than anything else. Concern for his kids' safety. Understand that. And now Dave Bergman saying, okay, I hear you, but they continue to debate a point here.
Well, and heaven only knows what the concern might be. It could be the play on the field is getting a little bit chippy. Maybe there's a lot of talk back and forth. It could be something happening at the line of scrimmage related to defenders and offensive linemen and, you know, where they're engaging them, too high, too low. But you're right, Coach Rucker has not gotten off the white hat during this whole timeout.
Yeah.
This is not about talking to his team. This is about talking to Mr. Bergman.
Coach Rucker has not gone to the huddle at all.
And you can see on camera, this is a conversation. Typically, you don't see that quite a bit, but, you know, Craig Rucker's been around a long time. He's got a lot of football cred, and whatever it was that upset him, he was presenting it in such a way that the official was willing to accept and listen to what he had to say without throwing the hanky. So he was doing it in a respectful fashion.
Kind of interesting on a day when one of the articles about high school football games in the Oregonian, Jerry Ulmer's article, was talking about officials and coaches and their conduct with the officials out on the field. So we'll keep an eye and go from here. Green through the right side He keeps his balance so well on those spins.
Well, and the other thing, Todd, is I haven't seen anybody really get a good straight shot at him. I mean, he is so elusive, and he will spin. You know, all of a sudden, defender thinks they've got him in his sights, and he makes this little spin move. Really doesn't take a lot of direct hits, and for a guy his size, that's really a good thing because he's not extremely large in stature, but very quick and very elusive.
Green to the outside, first down and more. Schlottman with another big hit, but you know, he's making a nice tackle. It just happens to be 20 yards downfield.
Yeah, and Tualatin defensively has had absolutely no answer to the onslaught. Whether it's been Floyd or Green, it doesn't really matter. They're just dominating at the line of scrimmage. Their backs get into that second level, into the secondary. It's just been a rough go for the T-Wolves here tonight at Tigard High.
Green once again. Better pursuit that time. Ball pops free, and they're off and running with it. Green down the sideline. There's a flag thrown. Did you see one?
Block in the back, about the 20-yard line.
Wow.
That's going to come back.
Totally unnecessary because he was clear of everyone. It looked as though the ball got knocked free and came back to him on a hop.
Yeah. And I'm sure that when the coaches sit down with the kids when they're watching this game film, this is one of those deals where, you know, you talk to the kids about playing the play out, being aggressive, but in this case, the block came 5-6 yards behind Green. There was nobody going to catch him. It was unnecessary to throw the block. The official was right there and made a good call. We could see it from here. Clearly a block in the back.
Yeah, he was in the clear. There's just no reason to go anywhere near that play as a blocker. But it will be a first down for the Tigers, who again, everything has been on their side of the brakes tonight.
The ball has definitely bounced their way.
From the Tualatin 30.
30-yard line, it's Wick taking this one. Just a couple yards that time. So the one thing I'd say for Tualatin is that interior defense, Simonson and Kenny Walder has been pretty solid tonight. They don't get it every single time, but they've been the standouts for the Timberwolves.
No, and the other thing, you know, sometimes these kinds of things happen. And you just need to be able to get past this. You know, the question will be how much of the game film will you really want to watch? They'll watch some because there's going to definitely be some room for improvement. They did a lot of good things offensively, but Tigard's been that much better. And so what Tualatin will need to do, get past tonight and focus on that next game. They're a good football team. They've just had a tough night.
Against a very good team. Green winding his way through. Gets a couple more yards on the play, helped up by the man who brought him down on the play. And that's Zach Sultan.
Here's the problem with what I've said, though. If you're a T-Wolf, you're playing your crosstown rival. And you never want to admit that they were a little bit better than you.
It wasn't just a little bit. But granted, right now, you know, you've got to lock it away, or as some coaches will say, flush it.
Yep.
And they really do. They've got 3 key games to work on and to point them towards the playoffs and get them a better seed in the 6A field. Floyd faking in the Wildcat, runs right side, throws out into the flat. That's complete inside the 20-yard line. And that's DeBiglow who tosses the ball up in the air. He's lucky he didn't get a flag for that. They'll spot it at the 16-yard line and a first down for the Tigers there. Tell you what, if I'm Rob Haston, Monday I might walk into the locker room with the kids carrying a DVD. No, snap it in 2 right in front of them and tell them, guys, that's done. Let's move on.
Well, you need to have, after something like this, you need to have a very short memory.
Yeah.
You know, they have played dominating football up to tonight. And some might say, well, they haven't played as good a teams, and maybe that's the case, but they're still a good football team. and they will get past this.
Floyd in the Wildcat, left side. 10 inside to 5, breaks a couple more tackles, and he's in for the score. Very close on the blocking, but whoever that was down there got wise and pulled up, and Floyd takes it in.
And again, the elusive nature of Floyd and the fact that he's able to break tackles, but he also is able to make people miss. And that's really the sign of a great running back, is when you barely ever get touched because you make other players miss. It's not so much about missed tackles, it's about being able to just miss the guy altogether.
Second rushing touchdown of the year or of the game for Floyd. He's 11th of the year. Wick with the kick, and it's 41-0 in favor of the Tigers with 6.5 minutes to go in the ball game.
You know, if you're trying to find other positives, it's not a long bus ride home for Tualatin either. You know, the worst part is if you drive to the south end of the state, something like this happens.
Yeah, you got a long time to think about it. And the other good thing is that your rivals will be busy at the homecoming dance, so you shouldn't see them in any of the gathering places.
Probably
at least till tomorrow.
I guarantee you there are a lot of young kids, sophomores and juniors on the Tualatin side, that are going to remember this and what it feels like, particularly for seniors like Andrew Schlottman, who really has left his heart out on the field.
Yeah,
I mean, he's played, he and Simonson, they played really great football. Walther.
Yep.
Those kids have left everything out here, and you know, in a lot of ways, you want to see seniors out with wins over big rivals. Not tonight. It's not going to happen. But again, this is one game, and they've still got to focus on the rest of the season.
Officials calling for a football. They finally get that out. One of the ball boys bringing it out now to the 40.
And he's got a jersey. We can actually see his number.
You might want to point that out to somebody. Well, somehow we've managed to get most of them ID'd somewhere along the way, so. Wick will kick it off. Himes, who's been impressive in the kick return department, is back there with Schlottman. And they'll kick this one wide, and it could and will go out of bounds again.
Kick out of bounds, ball placed on the 35-yard line.
Well, so one team tonight, Tigard, showed up and continues what they basically have averaged all season. They've averaged over 406 yards on offense. They've averaged over 36 points a game. And tonight, they're at 477 yards total offense and 41 points on the board. So they've done what they've done so far all year. Tualatin just didn't do their part.
And just 115 yards on offense for Tualatin, and a good showing for the Tigard unit, which still can't figure out how many guys to get on the field as kids keep racing on and racing back. To the air, tipped and incomplete. Nearly intercepted. In fact, I think if it hadn't been tipped by Shabrek, it would have gotten intercepted.
And you can tell they're talking to each other about that. You know, if you just
you cost me my pick, man. Yeah.
But somehow, when you've got a lead of this size, you get over stuff like that pretty quick.
Yeah. And it's said with a big grin on your face. It's been a long night for Brandon Schroyer, although Tigard not pressing as much with the defensive line. And as soon as I say that, they just beat the center one-on-one and drop him. That was just simple one-on-one play that time, and Jacob Mullen blew up the middle.
And Brandon Schroyer in defeat has shown a lot here too, because he has physically just gotten beat up all night long by a very aggressive, tough Tigard defense. They've not taken it easy on him whatsoever.
Yep, he just blew right through the center, blew through the gap, and dropped the quarterback. Schroyer with some time this time. Deep and incomplete as it bounces away from Brennan Symes, who we've not heard a lot from tonight.
Well, and Brennan knows that the pass was on the money. He needs to make that catch. The defense, yeah, it was pretty good, but the ball was right in his hands, and it dropped to the turf, and you can tell he's extremely disappointed not helping Schroyer out on that one.
New wrinkle, 2 return men back deep for the Tigers this time. Green taking his time to let his men get downfield. Kicks it into the boundary, and it'll go out of bounds at the 36-yard line. 35-yard punt that time. And man shaken up for the Tigers. Shabrek, who's been one of the deep men, I don't know whether he jammed a leg perhaps. He's kind of hobbling as he comes off the field here.
Well, he got whacked by one of the Tualatin defenders as a part of the kick coverage team. And it's one of those deals where I don't think he really saw the hit coming.
Yeah, with the ball going out of bounds, he's following it. You're right.
I can't tell whether he took a shot into the midsection or down around the thigh area, but he got whacked pretty good. You can see that his teammates and some folks are attending to him as he's on the sideline.
Yep, reserve unit in now on offense for the Tigers. And they have a player whose number we don't have at quarterback.
And up goes number 42, Bradley M.I.
Bradley M.I., the ball carrier.
By number 32, Chandler Shoemaker.
And I'm not sure, is that Brad Davis at quarterback, guys, or who's, anybody know?
Individuals again, Grant and Gina Olson. Southwest Landscape, Nike. All those individuals.
Well, we'll try and find out for you, but don't know who 82 is. We don't have an 82 on the roster. And the ball carried, I think, again by Imai out over the 40-yard line. Yep, it is Imai.
So we're thinking it's Nick Duran. We're not sure at quarterback.
Although he's been wearing 83 tonight, so.
Well.
Pitch to MI to the right side, and they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Some reserves in defensively as well for the Timberwolves. Cameron Fry on the tackle. Will Chapman also there to help. As we go under 4 minutes to play, and the Tigers will punt in theory. I think this is the second punt of the night if I recall correctly. Floyd coming out on the field. He handles the punting duties normally. And the only punt team I've ever seen with motion, although this time they just bring a blocker in. And Floyd will boot it away from the return man. It'll go out of bounds just outside the 20-yard line.
And if in that punt formation, if the defense, the receiving team in this case, gets any push at all, the punter, Floyd in this case, could kick the ball right in the backside of one of the offensive players because he only goes about 6 yards deep from the center. So it's been effective tonight because Tualatin has essentially not created any push at the line of scrimmage, but that's something that down the road you may take a look at. A 6 yard deep from punter to center, not a whole lot of room there.
So J.T. Greeno was the quarterback there. Thanks to the folks from Tigard for getting that for us. And the ball carried on a little around by Cooper Bruner.
J.T. Greeno's dad was a pretty darn good quarterback at Hood River High School, and I think he still actually holds some records, Todd, at Willamette University. And Todd was actually here in the booth before the game. So JT is his son, and he is actually getting some playing time here tonight in a big win over the arch rival.
Under 3 to go, another little wing counter again coming from the opposite side. Chandler Schoonmaker carrying for the first time. Tigers continue to sprint reserves onto the field, so everybody gets a chance to play against the arch rival. They're out busy high-fiving each other, and I think trading off pieces of equipment even as they swap in and out.
Well, I suspect that this area of Tigard will be quite busy this evening. with a big win by the Tigers and a homecoming party afterwards.
Short carry. That time for Cameron Fry, the ball carrier.
Cameron Fry with the ball. Number 30 for the Timberwolves.
There goes Simonson off the field.
Yeah, shoulder pad flapping as he heads out. Schoonmaker again bounces off a couple tacklers and dives forward to pick up about 3. 5 more reserves come sprinting in for the Tigers. Well, Jim, we were talking earlier, you've seen some of the other teams around the state. Is there anybody you can think of who might pose a challenge to control this Tiger running game at all, or to give the Tigers a good battle? Who would you put up at the top of the list?
Well, I think you've got a team down the valley in Eugene. Sheldon's pretty darn good. Lake Oswego, pretty stout defensively. The question is, who will be able to match up with the speed we've seen tonight? That's the issue.
And that was why, to me, Jesuit came to mind, just because you could fill the gaps against some of those slashes and those cutbacks. You're going to have to play very good run-contain assignment football against this Tigard team.
Well, and tonight, Tigard was not forced to have to throw the ball like they normally have in other games. And they do have a very good passing game. That's what makes them such a dangerous team. But tonight, they just dominated the line of scrimmage.
And to be honest, that Wildcat gives you a whole other wrinkle that you've got to scheme and plan for defensively, so it divides up your time to get ready for them. It's going to be a tough team to prepare for on a week's notice in the playoffs. 4th and 4 here for the Timberwolves as they just continue to run the counters. They're not looking to do anything either, and the Tiger defense will hold and be able to take a knee for one snap to end this ball game. Well, they scored 6 more points than last year and gave up 7 fewer, and they're going to pitch a shutout against their rivals to move into the lead in the Pacific Conference. They had a half-game advantage over the Timberwolves coming in, but 4-0, 5-1 overall, and I'm sure they'd love to even get a rematch on that one they lost by 2.
Yeah. Greeno back in at quarterback for Tigard. More than likely the victory formation where he'll just take a snap and kneel it down. Put this one in the books.
Nope, he's going to hand it off instead so he doesn't have a career negative rushing total.
And a brilliant handoff, I might add.
Well, you really are looking for points, aren't you?
Yeah, you know. I mean, this is I know as a dad of a young player, anytime your kid got into a varsity football game.
As a sophomore,
sophomore, even and against an arch rival on homecoming, that's a big deal.
So somebody needs to tell him he doesn't have to take another snap, but they're going to do it anyway. Run it one more time, and Tigard makes it 2 in a row over their arch rivals. The kids are ready to storm the field no matter what. And they're going to go over and claim their turf, as it were, as homecoming goes the way of the Tigard Tigers. We'll be back to wrap this one up, tell you about our players of the game in just a minute. Final score, Tigard 41, Tualatin nothing. You're watching PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
That's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program.
And back at Douglas Memorial Field in Tigard as the Tigers defeat the Tualatin Timberwolves by a score of 41-0. And Jim, I think it's probably as dominant a performance we've seen in what was a showdown game. 2 very good teams to have it so controlled, and Tigard really was in control from the start.
Well, they had the crowd behind them, a big night. It's a rivalry night. It's homecoming. It's for first place in the conference. A lot at stake. Tigard came out, obviously, ready to bust somebody in the chops. Tualatin could not answer. And once Tigard got up on top very quickly, they kept their foot on the gas. They played great defensively and offensively. So many weapons. It was just tough for Tualatin to keep up tonight.
Tigard with 483 yards of total offense, 444 of that on the ground. They could have easily gone over 500 had they had any need or inclination to do so. Meanwhile, they hold Tualatin to 126 yards of total offense, and about 20 of that came on the last possession when it really didn't matter as well. Very solid performance, and the goalposts are jiggling at one end even here at Douglas Memorial Field. Let's talk about our players of the game, and we both thought that maybe a couple kids on each side deserved some recognition in this one.
Well, I think for Tualatin, I'll take that. You can take Tigard. I think for Tualatin, obviously, a couple seniors, Simonson and Andrew Schlottman, both, all the way to the end, played their hearts out against their arch rival. They just came up on the short end of the stick. They've got 3 big games they've got to focus on, but those 2 guys really stood out for me and for you on the Tualatin Timberwolves
I
side.
agree. They both played with a lot of consistency and a lot of heart. And again, our congratulations there to Schlottman and Simonson as the Timberwolves are down at their end trying to ignore all the celebrating at the other end as Coach Rob Haston talks to his team a little bit right now as they go to 5-1. The homecoming dance is tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
So we're in trouble. They are going to be out and about tonight.
Yeah.
So our players of the game for the Tigard Tigers, it was a dominating performance again by the three-headed monster in the backfield, but in particular 2, as we'll share the awards. Kaz Green with 3 touchdown runs, 23, 74, and 15. That 74-yard run, his longest carry of the year. And for Zach Floyd, 2 touchdown runs of 2 yards and 16 yards, as well as a 26-yard touchdown pass to Connor Olson. And so our congratulations there to Zach Floyd and to Kaz Green. Jim, this is going to be a tough team to head off the rest of the way.
Well, it is. And whoever draws them in the playoffs, it's going to be a tough draw. They've now evened up this series with Tualatin, 8-8, and they did it in dominating fashion tonight. I just am so impressed with their ability to come at you from so many different places, and we really didn't see what they can do from the passing side of it.
They didn't go deep in the playbook.
Although they did have their Wildcat guy, Floyd, throw a touchdown, and that really makes it tough to figure out when you're trying to prepare defensively, where's it coming from. So Craig Rucker's got a very, very good Tigard football team.
And all sorts of ways to keep you guessing as well. So 2 years in a row now it's gone to the Tigers after they had dropped the previous 4, but they were in control from the start tonight. An impressive performance as the Tigard Tigers defeat the Tualatin Timberwolves on homecoming night at Tigard. Final score once again, the Tigers 41 and the Tualatin Timberwolves nothing. We thank you for joining us. Until next week, for Jim Patterson, I'm Todd Pickett. So long. You've been watching Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Until next Friday night, so long, everybody, from Tigard.